Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, your go-to place for everything Rocket League with your hosts, K-Cube, AJ Binky, and Red. So lean forward, lock in, and get ready to go Boost Over Ball.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do the thing. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Oh, it's gonna now open. Oh man, I accidentally clicked the wrong thing on my Steam Deck, and now all of the, like, I have a button, like, when I'm ready to play Rocket League, it, like, opens GIF Your Game and, like, Bacchus Mod and stuff. So, that happened.
Got yourself Rocket League ready.
Yep. But can't get enough, talk too much ball, so here we are. But hello and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners, yep.
Just to listeners.
Man, my dogs are barking. I didn't know if you could pick that up, but I'll start that over here.
Oh, no, I didn't really hear it.
Hello and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle, K-Cube, and I'm on the top left, and I'm joined today by Quilly. How's it going?
Doing good. It's a chaotic week. Unfortunately, Red is in therapy currently for reasons we'll talk about later.
Yeah, rough one for him. We got just so much shit to talk about today. On today's episode, we'll be talking about, they announced Major 1, so we'll talk about the location, we'll give our thoughts, we'll talk about our repeat journey to this location, which we'll talk about in a second. Every region under the sun played part or finished or played part of their Open number 1 this weekend, so we have all of that to talk about, and we'll finish off talking about hashtag Rocket League is dead, what this means for the player base, what this means for the players who started it, and what has come of it. So without further ado, you ready to jump right in?
Yes, sir. I did. I came up with the episode title on from the Dome.
Oh yeah.
Hashtag NRG is dead ?
Yep.
Just kidding. It could be in post. we can figure that out in post. If it's not the title, we discussed otherwise.
Perfect. And we said it in the episode too, so now it's not clickbait, and I wrote it down, so we're good. Hell yeah. But so RLCS back to Boston, second time around, Agganis Arena in Boston. Upstairs. Agganis Arena is home to Boston University's ice hockey team, and so it is a lower bowl only stadium. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I thoroughly enjoyed our last trip to Boston. That was like kind of our first event that wasn't a dream hack that we got press availability to. You were there as well. So the arena has a seating capacity of just over 6,000. So I think that should be a pretty good number for a major. We saw quite a few empty seats in Raleigh, so I think that is a good way to combat that. But Boston in February, what are your thoughts?
I mean, mixed. Boston, I mean, bias-wise, Boston's one of my favorite cities of all time, let alone to travel to. That's kind of why I went the first time. If there's ever an excuse to go, I'm going to take it. But in this instance, it's not the best in the fact that we've already been there before for RLCS, so the fact to have another one in the same exact arena, it takes a little bit of the sail out of the wind, or the wind out of the sails. Yeah, I mean, the venue itself, it was a great time. It's an awesome venue. It's a lot smaller than what we had in Raleigh, so I'm expecting a little bit louder of an environment because it'll be a little bit more compact and hopefully a better turnout. But obviously, Boston in February, possibility of snow. Honestly, travel could be scuffed for everyone, including teams. But it also could make for some awesome vibes. Walking into an arena on a snowy day, it could be awesome.
I just think about like the media day for the players going hard, like all the cool, city shots you could get at Boston, or the B-roll footage of like if it's snowing, like, the vibes are high. Like I think that's a cool feat, like a cool aspect, because we haven't really had like a winter, quote unquote, winter LAN in quite a while, with a lot of the, San Diego, LA, Fort Worth. I mean, obviously that's in, September, but still a lot of warmer weather areas. But really, at the end of the day, the biggest pro for Boston, it's not Fort Worth.
Well, yet.
We're not talking about that right now. I'm sure it will happen. I'm sure it will go back again because why in the hell wouldn't it? But man, here we are.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that Worlds announcement. I'm not. The tea leaves did point towards Boston being Major 1, or at least a repeat. So, and the tea leaves are also pointing towards Dallas, Fort Worth for Worlds. So, assuming the tea leaves are right, a double back-to-back repeat, if for NA lands, a choice for sure.
Would be tough, but we got a lot of Rocket League to cover today. Let's jump into Major 1, Open 1, starting off in OCE. They have completed their top 16, their double Swiss brackets, so we know which teams will be headed into the groups. And those top 16 teams making the top 16 from Group A. In our 3-0 group, we have Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, which is Kaka, Hunter, and Caleb. We have Turkish FC, and going 3-1, we have Miami Metro, Lethal Esports, and Wildcard. And in our 3-2 round, we have Dumb Luck Esports, RTT, and Petrol Money. And from Group B, we have our 3-0 group of Power and Keck Dubs. In our 3-1 group, we have You're Not a Champ, You a Clown. We have Vade Esports, and we have Forever. In our 3-2 group, we have Almost Nuts, Team Freeze, and Spliced. So first and foremost, favorite name of this top 16?
Hard one. But I like Petrol Money. Just
I think that's funny. I like You Not a Champ, You a Clown. That's a pretty good one. But Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs is also pretty good. Like, it's just long. It doesn't even fit on most of the Liquipedia stuff. You have to like go to their page to see it, which is kind of funny. But like realistically, and most importantly for OCE, you know, tough for Wildcard to drop a series to Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, but they go 3-1 and they're in. And you also see Team Power coming back and making their resurgence, but it's a lot of the same names that you normally see, right? Fiber, Super Lucky, Gus, Torsos, Banana Head Fever. Really just Kakas is kind of the player that you're used to seeing that isn't on a current an org backed team. But this region has lost a major spot and a world spot, so it's really just a competition to be that top team. So it will be harder than ever for these teams, especially in a region where it's usually two teams, and Power and Wildcard like to try and take series off of each other at weird and unique times. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But anything that sticks out to you from OCE before we move on to Sam?
No. I mean, pretty same old for OCE, obviously, outside of the one wildcard loss.
Yeah, fair enough. In Sam, we have a little bit of a different story here because we have the teams that have made it into the top 8 now. So we've done our double Swiss, we've done our bracket, and we have a winner for this one as well. So teams making the top 8 through the upper bracket, we have MIBR, Amethyst, Furia, and 3-point shooters. And through the lower bracket, we have Sanificados, Nova Drift, Emerald, and Team Secret. And advancing through the upper brackets directly to our top 4, we have MIBR and Furia. And advancing through the lower brackets to play them, we have Amethyst, who drop to Furia in Game 7, and we have Team Secret, who gets swept by MIBR, setting up a Furia-MIBR Grand Final in which Furia wins 4-1. So, same but different, right? New year, same stuff. Furia continues to dominate the region. I was very curious how Team Secret would go with KV1 instead of Swift, or Drafinho instead of Swift, I'm sorry, because Furia took Swift and they kind of just did a 1-for-1 swap here. But MIBR, a sad Estromic and Razebull roster looked fantastic until they ran into Furia in the finals. But a good showing from Amethyst. I think that they're that's Witsy, Suko, and CRN. Kind of a different look team than what you see, all Brazilian again, because that's what most of Sam is. But a win for Furia. I kind of don't really expect anything different. I think Furia will lock up this number 1 seed from Sam pretty quickly, but there's everything to play for teams like Secret, MIBR, Amethyst, and even like 3-point shooters who kind of are grab that last upper bracket spot. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's again another as expected with Furia taking the cake. Obviously, Amethyst put up quite the fight, a better fight than MIBR did in the grand finals, but competition nonetheless for Furia. Obviously, a lot of changes going on within the 2 of the top 3 teams. That by a lot of changes, I just mean 1-for-1 swap you mentioned, but it was pretty notable. Being Furia's been on top of the game for such a long time, and obviously falling out how they did last year out of Worlds and all the other lands. It was very interesting to see how these teams would perform. Honestly, expected more. I think everyone expected more from Secret, at least more of a fight, not to get swept by MIBR, but never doubt the bull unless it's against Furia in the grand finals.
Yeah, pretty quick. They made pretty quick work of them in the grand finals, and that was a little bit unexpected, but. Again, like you mentioned, it's Furia until it's not, right? That's really how it's going to be in Sam, I think, and I'm interested to see who can kind of step up and take that second spot. But MENA, up next we got MENA, and we know the teams that have made the top 16 from Double Swiss and from Group A in our 3-0 group. That is Team Falcons and ROC. Our 3-1 group is GHGVJGJG. I'm not trying to say that. We have Awa Awa and we have Nothing. In our 3-2 group, we have Sleeping, 100, and Incendies. And then from Group B in our 3-0 group, we have MMA. We have Twisted Minds. In our 3-1 group, we have SWC, Fearless, and Rural. And in our 3-2 group, we have Project S, NRD Esports, and The First. So kind of our two main suspects, Team Falcons rounding out the top of Group A, and Twisted Minds dropping 1 game to Project S, and having unfortunately a worse Buchholz score after beating 2 teams that did not make the top 8, where MMA beat 2 teams that did make the top 8. So for that reason, even though they had a better game differential because they only dropped 1 game to MMA's 2, they fall to that second seed. But really, who you expect to be there is there. Falcons, ROC, and Twisted Minds. What do you think about MENA and where everybody kind of stands?
I mean, it's really hard. These are we considering them a minor region still?
I mean, I feel like no, but they still only have 2 region spots.
I was gonna say these minor region teams are going as expected, but I don't want to disrespect MENA, but it's just I kind of think they are. It's just such a heavy top 2. As we saw how ROC performed, obviously they made it out of LCQ play-ins, but I think they got swept out once they got into the actual scene. Obviously, it could have been nerves, could have been pressure of Worlds, because obviously they've gone from never being on a LAN to playing Carmine Corp in the first round of Worlds in France. So definitely could have played into a factor of it, but it's going as expected. Awa Awa back from last year. Here to be 3-1, be dominant, not make lands, but have my favorite name and all of MENA. Yeah, Falcons, Twisted Mind. I'm looking forward to seeing them go head to head in the grand finals.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I mean, it's also I feel like it's very possible. And another thing to mention is I look at NA last year, right? And it was really NRG and Ultimates, right? They were the top 2 with a bullet, and then you had Gen.G, Shopify, and quite a few other teams that were trying to challenge for that 3-4 spot, right? So maybe it's the same thing here, right? Maybe the depth is kind of stepping up. Maybe these teams are starting to to put everything together and kind of figure it out. But like you said, Team Falcons just has 3 of the best players in the region, and Twisted Minds has really the other 2, and then Monkey Moon. So it's there's not really much of a drop off, right? Because you potentially grab one of the best players in the world in Drawley for Falcons, but I mean, TRK is still a phenomenal player, right? The most dangerous 3 letters in Rocket League. So there's still a lot to be desired here for both of these teams. I'm sure that they have world championship aspirations, but I don't think you can count out like ROC or, some of these other teams that seem to be looking pretty good, but they just unfortunately kind of run into a buzzsaw of, two just truly incredible teams that have kind of consolidated the best talent in the region. APAC. APAC has finished up their open number 1, so we know the teams that made the top 8. And through the upper bracket, that is Project de la Cruz, which is Kevin, Catalysm, and Sphinx. That is Kinotrope Gaming, which is Furlash, Cash, and Maxu. We have Daybreak Frontline, which is Lunatic, J-Box, and Taha. We have, I think it is Ground Zero Gaming, which is Nye, Risk, and Valid. And then through the lower bracket, we have North Star Gaming, we have Zingzi Shooters, we have Praise, and we have Rapier. Making it into our top 4 through the upper bracket is Kinotrope and Project de la Cruz. And Ground Zero makes it through that Ground Zero qualifies through the upper bracket. And they run into Kinotrope, and Kinotrope is able to take them down 4-2. Project de la Cruz takes down Daybreak Frontline, and in this case, all 4 of the top 4 teams were all 4 of the upper bracket teams. Project de la Cruz is able to make quick work of Daybreak Frontline 4-1. Hey, thanks for the sub, Rez. And in the grand finals, we have Project de la Cruz taking down Kinotrope 4-2. So kind of cool to see, some of these minor regions kind of finally getting back to winning their, the regions now that the region transfers are not in the way. As it's cool to see Kevin and Sphinx doing their thing. It's awesome to see Kinotrope back in the grand finals, as Realize kind of really did a lot to bring notoriety to them and to bring Rocket League to the general public there. So good to see for Lash and crew. So kind of expected that this former, this Catalysm Sphinx roster, 2/3 of the old Virtus Pro roster are, they dominated the region for an entire season. So not surprising to see them do it again. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, again, the team you expect to win is winning the whole thing. Yeah, there's not really much around or other to say other than that. Another minor region being won by who you'd expect, and obviously the favorite to win it all for that region at least. So yeah, congrats to them. Kevin finally are getting a name, getting to get those wins under his belt, championships. Obviously, I've never heard the name Kevin mentioned more in my life than you guys fondly talking about him.
Yeah, because he joins the first name team. Like what more higher, greater honor could you possibly get?
The AD team.
Yep. Yep. But so congratulations to Project de la Cruz and to Kevin and crew. But moving over to our last region, kind of before we get to EU and NA and the absolute shit show that was, is SSA, and we know what teams have made the top 16. So from Group A, our 3-0 teams are No Name Team and Looking for Organization. Our 3-1 teams are Team 10, Team HSK, and Ox Gaming. Our 3-2 teams are Death Cloud Esports, Astronic Esports, and Incadla Style. And from Group B, our 3-0 teams are Kansas City Pioneers and Cosmico Esports. Our 3-1 teams are The Punishers, Rounds, and Unity. And our 3-2 teams are Synthesis, Spanish Poppin' Wars, and White Rabbit Gaming. So kind of the players that you expected when you talked about SSA. When people kind of left the scene, you thought of To Die For, Sweaty, and Pioneers, who grabbed Lewis P for their third spot. And you think about like Wordy, Torres stuck around in SSA to stay on, looking for organization. But a lot of kind of some SSA talent that we're kind of seeing rise to the top here again as No Name Team, Tekaz, Snowy, and Guns. So a lot of SSA players are finally getting their time in the sun again after having to wait and kind of play second fiddle to all the import teams that we saw last season.
Yeah, I think this is a minor region with at least a little bit like closer of a ceiling to floor gap. I think this one's a little bit more competitive. I do think No Name Team is still the heavy favorites with To Die For and Lewis P being two of the, if not the best players in all of SSA. But obviously, Torres being the reigning champ of the region, obviously with the full import team no longer being there, we don't know if he'll have the same results as last year, but we will see. But obviously, he has the experience compared to all of them by a long shot at least, because he made every single LAN on that team's behalf or for the region's behalf. But No Name Team, definitely an interesting one to keep an eye out for. And even I lost them. Where'd they go? Team 10. Team 10 giving themselves a good performance. So it'll be interesting next week. This one definitely a little bit more up in the air for who could win this. Obviously, we also don't know, so get a little bit of excitement going forward.
And a little bit of Rocket League to watch, right? Because EU and NA are going to take a break. And speaking of EU, let's talk about them first. So, my God, they said let's make this interesting. So the way I'll do this is I'll run through the teams from each group who are making it out, and starting in Group A through our upper bracket qualifiers, we have Vitality taking down Sonics 3-1 and taking down Dreifach Reset 3-0. We then have Two Danes, One Bruv taking down Hogan Mode in 5 games, and then taking down Gentle Bench in 4 to qualify through the upper brackets. We then have Gentle Bench taking down Pina Low Driven to qualify through the lower bracket, and we have Magnifico sweeping Dreifach Reset to also qualify through the lower bracket through Group A. And in Group B, we have Carmine Corps taking down Gentlemates 3-1, and then taking down Novo Esports in 5. We have Ninjas in Pajamas taking down TSK 3-1, and then taking down GK in a sweep to qualify. We then have Gentlemates who take down Cloud Esports, then beat GK 3-1 to eliminate Gentlemates or to eliminate GK and remove them from the tournament. We then have Novo Esports who take down GHT 3-0 to qualify through the lower brackets in that last spot. So, what are your thoughts about the teams that qualified and about the teams that did not?
GK, obviously, the team I picked. I wanted to jump straight to GK, right?
You're allowed to. Yeah, we did the whole thing, so you can talk about whoever you want.
I just got double checking first. A little bit of some outliers last week, but yeah, GK missing. Definitely not in my bingo card, obviously, because I picked them to win. But as we mentioned last week, we were picking with the hindsight of no knowledge of who's going to be versing who, and obviously the GK Gentlemates, one of them has to go home. Obviously, and Gentlemates is the team on top. A little bit of friendly fire between Archie and Joyo. The power of friendship has to verse each other on the field, and unfortunately for GK and GK fans, they got sent home. But I'm pretty sure I sniped 2 of them. I sniped Novo and Two Danes, One Bruv. Those are my 2 picks, and they both made it. I'm patting myself on the back for that one. I got 5 out of 6 of the predictions correct, which I find pretty impressive, especially with how this weekend went completely
off the rails.
Yeah, completely off the rails. But yeah, other than that, as expected, Magnifico looked great. KC, Vitality obviously looked great. Vitality did have some rough spots there, I believe, to my knowledge. I was a little bit in and out of series, but if you didn't have a chance to, that KC Two Danes One Bruv series, please go rewatch that. Because, wow, that was an absolute barn burner.
So we talked about the top 6. We talked about our predictions. I mean, I think for the most part we did as well as we could have without knowing what the matchups were, because again, like, you know, we didn't know that we were going to get a Gentlemates GK in lower round semifinal, which, you know, makes it difficult for both of them to make it through when they have to eliminate each other. But moving into our playoff bracket, in the upper bracket quarterfinals, already qualified for Copenhagen, but in trying to make it into our semifinals, we have Ninjas in Pajamas taking down Vitality 4-1, and in, like you mentioned, probably I would say the series of the weekend in entirety of RLCS. We have Karmine Corp taking down 2 Danes 1 Bruv in Game 7 overtime. Not overtime, I'm sorry. But, we have Game 2, Game 4, 5, and 6 all going to overtime. 2 Danes 1 Bruv able to almost pull off the miracle sweep there to make it into our top 4. But they're headed to Copenhagen, but they'll have to win one more series to get back to our top 4. In our lower bracket, round 1, win and you go to Copenhagen, lose and you go home 1 series early, and that is Gentlemates taking down Magnifico in 7. Magnifico just falling short in a 1-goal game in Game 7 on Champions Field. And in our last match of the day, it was Novo Esports taking down Gentle Bench 4-1 to make it through to Copenhagen. So again, for people who are unfamiliar, in Copenhagen, we will finish out the rest of the EU Open 1 playoff bracket. So we will play our 2 lower bracket quarterfinals, and then we find out our top 4, and then we'll go from there. We'll play our semifinals and grand final, and we'll do the same thing for NA. And then after both of those have concluded, then we will play a 8-team single elimination bracket event using the top 4 from each region to play for an extra region spot at both majors and with the World Championships, and an automatic qualification to Major 1 for the winning team. So a lot to play for these teams, but like I mentioned before, that I really just can't say enough good things about 2 Danes 1 Bruv. I think Acro had a phenomenal game. Edgeby looked amazing. That series, like you said, you have to go back and watch it if you didn't. That is probably the most consistently I've ever seen someone, like, if you're not going to just come in and beat the brakes off of Karmine Corp, like, that's how you play with them, it seems like. But what were your thoughts overall on our playoffs that we've seen so far, and about that match specifically?
No, it was great Rocket League. The 2 Danes 1 Bruv for 6 games had the formula: pressure, kill it immediately, be on time. They were pre-jumping everything. Before they were pre-jumping the pre-jump. That's how early they were to everything, and they were suffocating Karmine Corp. They were just struggling just slightly. They were just 1 move away from getting those goals that they needed, which could have changed the tides and ended the series possibly earlier. But yeah, obviously this is a newfound success for them, so hopefully they could build on it. But yeah, a couple of those plays, they would have a play where they bang it into 2 defenders rather than play the mid pass, maybe go for some demos. Obviously, they know more than I do, so we'll see how they build on it and if they can get that rematch and get the win this time rather than a Game 7 loss. And no, great showing. And the playoffs this entire weekend, especially in EU, were insane. It was we're getting a great Rocket League off rip.
So we know the rest of the bracket from here on out. Just predicting our EU top 4 here. Who do you have winning that Vitality Mates series?
It's hard to bet against Archie on LAN, but it's also hard to bet against Zen.
But they have exotic.
But depends on which exotic are we getting? Are we getting World's exotic, or are we getting all of
other
last
World's
year
exotic?
Oh yeah, that's Mates by a mile. Now in this, I'll pick 4-2 Vitality. Oh wait, is it best of 5? It's best of 7s, right?
Yeah. And then 2 Danes 1 Bruv and Novo Esports.
See, it's hard for me to bet against Novo Esports just because I'm just rooting for them. That's the team I always want to see prosper. Honestly, 4-3 Novo Esports.
Ooh, see, I would say 4-2 2 Danes, and I would go 4-3 Mates. So then, but like realistically, do you think whoever comes out of that Vitality Mates series, do you think they have a chance to beat Karmine?
More than we'd expect.
Fair, especially
I think all of EU and NA is. Well, I mean, NA is self-explanatory, but I think both of them are up for grabs. I think it's more up for grabs than you'd expect. Obviously, Carmine Corp lost Farah and Drali, so we will see how they perform on the land and what type of adjustments they made. Obviously, they made the proper adjustments against 2 Danes, 1 Bruv, but again, 2 Danes, 1 Bruv is fresh to the success. So being in a battle with them isn't the best look for them, but they still do come out on top. I think they are a very beatable team, especially having Juicy rather than Drali, but Juicy obviously a more than respectable player in his own right. So, but yeah, I think any team has a chance to take down Carmine Corp.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna put you on the spot again. Who's winning? Who's winning EU?
All of EU?
Yep. This event, just this event. Sorry, if that wasn't clear.
Got to be Novo Esport. I'm just kidding. I low-key want to pick them. I just have a faith in some legacy run out of them.
I mean, it looked good.
Take it. Give me Novo.
Okay. I'm gonna take Mates. So, anything else that you want to mention about EU before we jump over to the absolute shit show that was NA?
No. Someone find your local red and give them a big hug.
Yeah. So qualifying in Group A through the upper bracket, we have Space Station Gaming and 100x35, and through the lower bracket, we have Team Silenced and Shopify Rebellion. And in Group B, through the upper bracket, we have Foot Esports and Redacted. And through the lower bracket, we have Gen G and Shuffles Kittens. So for people who didn't watch or haven't seen or didn't know, that again is Space Station 100x35, Team Silenced, Shopify Rebellion, Foot Esports, Redacted, Gen G Mobile One Racing, and Shuffles Kittens. Hey, Quilly, there is one enormous name that was left off of this top 8. Do you know what that is?
Oh, you know what we can ask again? What time does NRG play?
Oh my goodness, we certainly can. They used up all of their ability winning a world championship, and they said, you know what, we don't even need to play in this event. We'll still qualify for the major. So NRG dropping down to the lower bracket, losing in Game 5 to Redacted, the team of Wavy, Two Piece, and Talk, who looked amazing, might I add, throughout the weekend. And then NRG draws themselves up into a lower semifinal matchup with Gen G Mobile One Racing, and that Rise, Magic Bear, and Justin team, and they get swept. And that might be the worst I've ever seen NRG look in that Gen G NRG series. It just was terrible. A lot of easy dribble goals, a lot of overcommits. They just never looked comfortable. They never looked like they were in the series, despite them being like somewhat close, right? Like so 3-0, 3-1, 3-2. But they never, in my eyes, they never really stood a chance. You know, before we talk about playoffs, just talking about the group stages, what do you think about the teams that qualified? What do you think about NRG that didn't? What the absolute heck is going on in NA?
Well, this is in honor of Red. He asked me to flame him, so I'm gonna have to do some work here. NRG, what the hell are we doing here? We have a kickoff land. This is straight up NA versus EU for an extra spot at Worlds, and our best chance is First Killer, the guy who's discussed at being a land fraud. That's who we're sending out right now. We are in the depths of hell right now. I think technically our best player right now is an EU player in Rise, who swept you. That they call it a Super Bowl hangover in the NFL, but we're calling it Worlds hangover here. It's a cursed thing. You win Worlds, guess what? Your team's beat. As we can see here, NRG coming in completely flat-footed. It's just an embarrassment to go from World Champions to missing, not even making top 8 in NA. It's just an insanely. It's not even words to describe how embarrassing this is for us. Yeah, it's sad, but give them good grace. Coach Satthew said it best himself. We didn't deserve to go. They were gracious in defeat, rather than making excuses or blaming things. They said we didn't deserve to go to this kickoff land. The top 16 or the best 6 teams did. So hopefully this is a good mindset and they're going to bounce back from it. But outside of that, my God, did SSG look good? Obviously, their competition subpar. But outside of that, the team did look great. Team Redacted also looked great, as you mentioned. The team, where I gotta find them. What is it? Wavy. Let me find
Wavy,
Two Piece and Talk.
Yep.
Yeah, Talk, the up and coming star from Canada. Was he on the Carl team last year?
Yeah.
All right, he was.
He was the one who was going to take the split off and then got cyberbullied into playing.
Yeah,
here we are.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the team Redacted looked insane. I think all of these Orgulous teams made a great name for themselves, especially Shuffles Kittens as well. But yeah, no, this is a more than I can't even get over Gen G's, not even just beating NRG, sweeping NRG. Rise coming over to NA and pretty much
NRG
dominating.
Scored 3 goals the entire series, and Gen G scored three a game.
Yeah, it was just as what do the kids say, belt to ass, I believe.
Yeah,
I believe it was.
Yep.
It was straight belt to ass, going from what, but you know what they can do. They may be crying, but guess what they're going to cry into? The World Championship Cup.
Yeah, their medals. Yep. I was waiting for that one. Beast Mode's gonna cry into his new house.
Yeah, he's gonna go. Oh, I'm so rich. I have a big house.
But moving into our playoffs, and you know, it was almost a perfect speed run here for NA as Space Station is able to sweep Foot Esports. We have Redacted taking down 100x35 4-2 in our upper brackets, but again, all 4 of those teams that we just mentioned already made it to the kickoff land. This was just for basically getting a bye through the quarterfinals, and then through the lower bracket we have Shopify Rebellion sweeping Shuffles Kittens to qualify for the kickoff land, and we have Gen G sweeping Team Silenced, again also making it to the kickoff land. So Foot and Shopify will play for a chance to play Redacted in the semifinals, and 100x35 will play Gen G for a chance to have a shot at Space Station. So, good job to Foot, good job to 100x35, but Shopify and Gen G take these, right? Like, I feel like that's pretty straightforward.
Who does Shop play again?
Foot.
I feel like Gen G easily. No offense, DJ TJ. Congratulations on making the land, though. Pretty cool for DJ.
Shop and Foot.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying we're talking about that. I was mentioning because you said Gen G and Shop take it.
Yeah.
I think Gen G definitely beat 100x with respect to DJ TJ, obviously.
Yeah.
Friend. But I think the Foot Shopify series is closer than expected because obviously we've seen what First Killer teammates do on lands. So,
they all disappear.
Yeah.
He does his best magic deck, and instead of pulling things out of the hat, he hides them in the hat.
Yeah, no, I think obviously Shopify, out of the 4 teams mentioned in this the elimination bracket, I think they are by far the best on paper and in ability, but it's whoever scores more goals, and as we see by NRG, anything can happen in any of these matches.
Yep. And then I'm also taking Gen G over 100x35, like you mentioned as well. So, who are you taking to win this event for NA?
I'm between Shopify and Gen G. But for the sake of CJ and his mental well-being, I'm going to take Shopify.
Okay. I do not think Shopify will win, and I don't think they will win the kickoff land either, but, here we are. But I do think we will probably get a Shopify Gen G final, and I think the Rise experience has firmly started in NA, and I think that they win it there.
And I think it's going to be, I can't wait for this kickoff land. This is going to be insane. I wish we were going.
I wish we were allowed to go.
I think we are. I think, what's his? Tryhouse is going as a broadcaster. Like, he's going to stream from the event.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
I think we technically are. I wonder if they're letting press in, or he's just because he's streaming the event.
Man, we got to start streaming more so we can get big enough to do that shit.
Yeah, that's why every time I see that, I go, I wish I didn't have a day job on Thursdays and Fridays to be watching lands every day or watching events every day.
We could watch Party on Saturday if you wanted. Like, we got some other regions to do.
I can get jiggy with a Saturday, Sunday. All right, keeping tuned.
Yeah, but that's all we have so far for NA. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about any of the regions that we've talked about before we talk about some of this hashtag Rocket League is dead?
Do you think SSG is for real, or do you think it's just matchup luck?
I think that they're for real. They took down Shop 3-1.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't. Why do I not remember this?
Group stage upper semis.
No.
They
Yeah,
also beat Lotus, Unreal, and Top Lab. They beat 3 teams that qualified for top 16. They are
yes, I remember it.
They are the only team to do so, I believe.
You said that, and for some reason I was thinking about like this past weekend. I was like, they didn't.
Yeah, no,
last weekend.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I think honestly, the Diaz Chronic is really just holding it down, and Diaz is performing way beyond what was expected of him. I honestly think Diaz. Everyone's talking about how good Chronic is. I think Diaz is the shining light on this team.
Yeah, he's a mechanical monster. He is phenomenal, and it shows. But and any other things that you got to add on this one? As we've kind of moved through this at about the right pace. We're approaching the hour mark here.
Yeah. No. That is it. Please Shopify, save us. You're our last hope.
Redacted to win the kickoff LAN. How crazy would that be?
Honestly, they looked insane too.
I'd love to see like a 2 Danes 1 Bruv or a Redacted win, because they guarantee a major 1. Someone has to sign them, right? Like somebody needs to sign them regardless.
I mean, I think honestly, Dig dropping the 3 they have and taking either one of them is a potential thing to potentially in play. I don't know how fast or what the contract allow if they can. I'm assuming they can do that. But yeah, no, this Redacted team has looked insane. Wavy and 2Ps have kept the momentum going from the end of last season, and Talk has fit in well. Again, one of the young up-and-coming players that is so insane to watch. But yeah, this team punching way above their weight class and taking down whoever's in front of them. It's so like, it's awesome to see, but it's scary that this is what we're sending, where we don't know what's going to happen, because not only is there a long time until it happens, it's going to be their first ever LAN. So it's going to be our Talk's first ever LAN. They've obviously been to World, so it's going to be a little bit interesting for all of these new faces, especially like 100X. Yeah, I am worried. Worried and excited.
It just kind of seems like everything's like way more like open or possible this season as opposed to last year at this time. It'd have been like, oh, Energy wins, oh, KC wins, like they win their open, and then it'll be one of those two in the finals that win, probably KC, because they were the evil they were the evil empire at that point, like unstoppable. So yeah. It's so cool to see that it's so cool that we're gonna get International Rocket League this early into the season to kind of see where teams stack up with all these roster changes that we've made. And I'm excited for the teams that haven't, like, you know, maybe no one tells Redacted that they're supposed to be nervous, right? Maybe no one tells Novo they're supposed to be nervous, right? And they just go out and do the damn thing. Like, you never truly know what's going to happen. And, like, you know, this is where experience really can be a help to your team, right? That's why Rise's experience as the most like LAN games of any RLCS player of all time kind of comes into play. So I'm interested to see what happens, and I can't wait for this kickoff LAN. It cannot come soon enough. I think it's a week from this weekend, December 7th.
Oh, I feel it's so long away though. Like, I get it.
It's a little over a week, like a week and a half.
Yeah, it's a lot of private, but like, that's such a crazy gap to have between that and a finals for a regional.
Oh yeah.
And then on top of that, they're going head to head with the other region right after. That is a lot to prepare. And again, with all these new faces to LANs, I don't know how they're preparing for it.
Indeed. So, anything else that you want to add before we talk about this?
Nope. Let's start the movement.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Vatira, Atau, and a lot of other pros started a hashtag over the weekend. Hashtag Rocket League is dead. they cited that during the bracket, and people saw it during the bracket phase of EU and some in NA, many players experienced some disconnects, some DCs, and since it was the bracket phase of the tournament, they did not have any match admins in the games, and so because of that, in the rules it states that if you are DC'd from a match, you are not allowed to rejoin during play. You have to wait for the game to end unless the game is paused. That's why it's okay. That's why they have match admins in game during major tournaments so that people can do that. So teams aren't at a disadvantage. But like there were a few times when teams just like stopped playing, right? Like they didn't play. They got scored on 3 or 4 times, and then they're like, oh wait, we have to play this out. They won't, we can't pause or restart. And so that's kind of what happened. But like GK gave up a free game or two, and it happened to a few other people, but that was it led to some surprising results in EU, especially like GK being in the lower brackets to begin with. The second issue that they were citing is DDoSing and botting has become an even bigger.
Yeah.
But so the DDoSing and the botting has become a bigger issue. It happened to me in C3 today, which is insane to me. But the realistically, they're just trying to bring attention to it, right? And all that we've ever wanted is communication. But this hashtag was trending so much so that the RL Rocket League status, RL status, tweeted out an update on RL server attacks, basically saying, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a pretty long article, but they go into and highlight how are users attacking Rocket League servers using denial of service, DOS attacks, or distributed denial of service attacks, DDoS, and they've added detection and they've made their servers more resilient to it. But really the biggest thing, and the part that I will read, is the what's next portion. So expanding our prevention and detection efforts is a top priority for us. There is no place in the Rocket League community for those who disrupt matches with DDoS attacks. Some attacks will slip through the cracks as methods evolve. When these things happen, players pay the price, but we will be on it. While we have already banned a significant number of cheaters, we continue to work on banning attackers faster and more comprehensively, while also preventing bad actors from re-entering the game with alternative accounts. If you ever fall victim to an attack during a match, be sure to report the player in-game using the cheating report set reason. Thank you all for your patience as we continue to tackle this problem. There's still more work to do. We will continue to roll out improvements, and we look forward to discussing them with you in the future. And again, I feel like we're continuing to beat the dead horse on this, right? But here on the podcast, we've talked every single time there's a reason that the community is up in arms with Epic, with Rocket League, etc. It's a communication issue. You can say a lot without having to say very much, and that's what they did here, and it's phenomenal. That's all the people want. That's all the people have asked for. That's all that they look for, right? So it's awesome to see that they're being a little bit communicative. I'm hopeful that is something that can continue to happen, but this isn't an issue that's going to be solved overnight, but it seems like they're certainly trying to do what they can to prevent it. The RL Status Twitter account tweeted again today, the 25th. After making improvements to our bot detection methods, we have completed an initial ban wave on 5,500 accounts that were using bots to cheat in online matches over the past week. We will continue to take action on players who disrupt fair play as we continue to take steps towards securing Rocket League's competitive integrity against cheaters, and more bans are coming. Thank you for sticking with us as we continue to fight back against the cheaters. So, again, more communication. It's awesome to see. That's all the people are looking for. But I talked a lot. What are your thoughts? How are you feeling? Is Rocket League actually dead like NRG is?
It's hard to say, but I mean, it's been going on for so long that we've just been begging for something, answers to words, even just acknowledgement. We got a little bit of something not that long ago, I believe, but then it was just radio silence again, no action, just empty words. Hey, we're looking into it, but then what? It kind of sucks that it takes literally two top 10 players in the world making a hashtag. It literally says that your game is dead. to elicit just something of a response. I feel like this is just, like you said, beating a dead horse. It just sucks that I feel like this is quite literally the only esport that's complaining that this is a problem. Cheating is running rampant, as I I think it's just this game is getting a little worse for wear. It's not aging well. Maybe some engines problems that are getting very unreal. Maybe some updates are in order, because where these aren't problems. Games that run on Unreal Engine 5. We're back to that. Back from the dead. Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, and another thing that I do want to mention, and that is a good thing to mention as well. He mentioned that look at all the admins that are literally offering to admin for free, which is crazy. But so that is another thing that needs to be, at least in my that needs to be mentioned, is it was posted earlier today that somebody had said, I'm gonna all basically admin for free, and it was brought to the attention, hey, actually there's so many qualified admins that are not adminning right now because they tried to team up to get better pay and more communication with Epic and stuff like that, and they are not getting paid for it. So there's a lot of people that are rescinding their free admin offers so that the people who are qualified and who have admined in the past can get paid for their efforts, because they really should, right? They help keep the esport running smoothly, and they make sure that everyone has proper connection, and that we don't have any of these games where players don't realize that they're supposed to be playing, right? Because at the end of the day, all that really hurts is the teams and the fans. So nevertheless, there's still a plethora of people that would also be willing to do it for free, but they have to have, in my eyes, if you're in top 16, you need match admins. So
yeah, we didn't even talk about that GK had their entire team kicked out of a game 1 of their elimination game. So they started out the series in a best of 7 down 1-0. Was it best of 5 or best of 7? It was best of 7, right?
Best of 5. Best of 5.
It was a best of 5. So you're already down 1 game. You have to win 3 more before they win 2. You're already on the back foot. And GK being one of the biggest orgs with 3 of the biggest names in all of Rocket League. Literally one of, if not the biggest content creator in RLCS, in Appjack, and obviously the fan favorite in Joyo. They're out, and it could be directly resulted to losing a game of this right off the rip of the series. And the series went to 5 too. So clearly they were able to at least make it competitive even with a disadvantage. But yeah, this is just shameful on the sport. I can't imagine an equivalent in an IRL sport like NFL. I don't even know, a flight not making it so the game just starts, they just run the score up for a half time until halftime. The team finally gets there. I don't know. It's just awful that this has to happen, especially so early. With the kickoff land on the line. But yeah, hopefully something comes of this. Are we confident in it? No, but is it possible? They'll probably not, but maybe. Hopefully. I think it's interesting though. What do you think? What do you think comes of this? Do you think anything happens result wise? I think you said they banned people today, or announced bans today.
5,500 accounts.
Yeah, so 5,500 IP bans. But at what point does it get? Do you think there's a point where this is no longer a problem on UE3? I'll preface.
I think it's possible, but they mentioned in the article it's a cat and mouse game, right? So it's you show me a 10-foot wall, I'll show you a 12-foot ladder kind of situation, right? So as long as there's video games and as long as there's MMR, there's going to be people that cheat to get an edge to get a higher rank than they should, right? That's just the nature of human beings, right? And that's that's what's going to happen. So realistically, I think that it's been so rampant in in pro, especially KDOP, who's been super vocal about it. But also, I think part of it too is a lot of people will stream KDOP and use that to try and tilt him because it does, and they get a rise out of him, which is probably what they're looking for. So I would like, I think that realistically you could, instead of, for a lot of the pros, it's like, every like 7 to 8 times out of 10 that they're running into someone that is doing this, maybe they could drop it down to 1 or 2. And I think people would be a lot happier and more willing to stick with it, right? If you see like some positive improvement. So, I mean, I think it's possible. I don't think you could ever get rid of it completely, but I think that there's certainly reason for optimism in my opinion. But
something.
Yeah, no kidding. It's something. It certainly is something.
Luckily, I'm so bad at the game I don't have to worry about DDoSers. Me and my champ 1 lobbies, although you're getting to your C3 lobbies, they're slowly creeping their way downwards. But for now, I'm safe.
Yeah, no kidding. But we are officially over the hour mark, so look at us go. Went a little bit quicker than if Red was here because we'd have a lot more to talk about, each time we went through something. But is there anything else that you wanted to talk about Rocket League, about Rocket League is Dead, about any of the regions that we've talked about Boston, about anything like that before we wrap up for today?
Is there any food spots you're looking forward to in Boston?
Nothing specific. I am excited to just see the boys, to get to travel, to see our.
What are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to most about Boston? Let's just do that.
Seeing the guys, like it's an awesome excuse to go in and see everybody, to see people that are in chat, to see people that interact with us online, to see people that we've met, to see friends that we've made, and to kind of get to interview and take some pictures again. It's just such a fun experience, and I'm so thankful that we get to do it year in and year out. And even if we have to go to Fort Worth again, right, like we bitch about having to go to Fort Worth again, but like I would do it in a heartbeat. It's such a fun time and experience and everything.
Yeah. Can't be understated, or can't be overstated, understated enough how awesome it is.
Yeah.
Like literally I think at Worlds I was talking to someone like, oh, what's your name? I was like, oh, Quilly. They're like, where you get that badge? I do Boost Over Ball podcast. Like, oh, no way, because obviously we do the video podcast, but the Spotify, they're not seeing our faces. Yeah. They go, oh, I was literally just listening to that on the way here. It's like, oh, awesome, you heard me speak. Also, you heard me be stupid. So I'm glad you got some enjoyment out of it. So that's always cool to get that feedback.
It certainly is. But with that, and we'll have a lot of things to talk about next week. We'll try and make sure Red is back. We'll try to make sure that he's okay. We'll do a wellness check on him to make sure that nothing bad has happened to him since NRG is out of it. But I think it's about time to wrap up for today. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it is. Like I said, hug your local Red. They're in a place of heartbreak and despair.
Yeah. He's hurting. But we'd like to thank you all so much for listening. We'd like to remind everyone that this podcast is proudly brought to you by our name level supporters on Patreon, Alyssa B. We'd like to remind everyone to please rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts, share the show, tell a friend. It all helps us grow our audience and improve the show. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, and Twitch, which we're currently live streaming on right now. And come join our Discord. Come talk some rock. Come talk ball. It's a lot of fun. Make sure to check us out by checking out our merch store and our Patreon. This is how we fund the show and do giveaways. All of those links and more can be found on our website at boostoverball.com. And from us here on the show, as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball. See ya!
Thanks for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website at boostoverball.com.